Welcome to Like a Doss, the podcast where Ronnie Doss will share with you insights around life, legacy, and leadership. For more information about our resources, visit our website at dossteam.com. Now let's join the podcast.
Well, hello guys, it's Ronnie Doss. Welcome back to episode 5 of Like a Doss already. I'm so excited. Got my main man on here today, Mr. Joel Bennett. What's up, Joel?
Ronnie, 5 already. It's hard to believe. Actually, it's been a little while since we've done one, and I've been yearning to get back to this. We're getting great
Yearning?
Yearning. Tell me some of the responses you've been getting.
Well, dude, I just came back from a conference. I don't know, I was in St. Louis, and the feedback from our podcast has been so strong. I'm so excited. We were traveling last week and then the week before, so getting it done was just not an option. You were on the road. So anyway, happy to do this because everybody seems to be loving it. So I love asking this question because it's always good. But what you got today, Joel? I'm excited to hear what your card of questions is. You always have your card of questions. So
I do. And I've had extra time to put the savory sauce on this. So let's get started.
And I asked you this morning, I said, when we were working out at the gym, I said, so what are we talking about today? You said, I can't tell you. So I appreciate your integrity on that. It's a little frustrating, but all good. So
yeah, because I think, and honestly, going back to some of the responses we've been, people say, I like how it just seems honest, and you're asking questions that I would ask, and I think that people want to hear that from you, not a rehearsed speech, not a this is what we're going to talk about today, and I like that. It's a little more mysterious, but it's more fun and it's more truth, I think. So let's get started.
All right.
I want to talk about personal responsibility. We need to, in every situation in life, it's so easy to push it off on someone else. Or instead of looking at the seeds that we planted and what's grown in their place, we go, it's your fault, it's my fault. Talk to me about some personal responsibility.
So I guess what we could first look at would be what would be the opposite of it then. The opposite of personal responsibility is playing a victim character. And I learned about this years ago from Mr. Clemmer. I mean, he used to talk a lot about personal responsibility. But then I think it's important for us to look at what it would be if you don't take personal responsibility for your life and what's going on. When you're not being personally responsible, Joel, what you're doing is you're playing a victim character. Now, the reason I say character is because we can step in and step out of these characters at all times. You can be very, very responsible when it comes to your family. You can be very responsible when it comes to your physical health. You can be very responsible when it comes to your finances. But yet when it comes to your own, your business, what you're doing within marketing, let's say your business, or within really putting the time in, you could shift into a victim character and say, well, I just don't have the time. We've got so much going on. And then you become a victim to everything that's going on around you. And so when we're a victim, we feel like things are being done to us. Something's being done. And what that is, that's just a different way of looking at circumstances, looking at our life. Because if I feel like something's being done to me, that means that I don't have any control in it. Now, it doesn't mean that we're going to have control, Joel, of everything that goes on in our life. However, we do have control of how we respond to it, of course. But when we're victimized, that could be that someone stole from us, took advantage of us, broke into our home, our car, did something, right? Cheated us out of something. That could be being victimized. Those things happen, okay? They do happen. However, to continue to live from this place of acting like the world is doing something to me, that it's beating me down, that it's taking advantage of me, it's using me, this relationship, they're using me. If you continue to come from that place, basically you're playing that character, and people are really good at it. Sometimes people are really good on their job. They're responsible because they know their paycheck depends upon it. They want the approval of their peers, the people that they're working with, their colleagues, their boss, their managers, whatever that is. But when they go home, they shift into this victim mindset or this character where it's like, I work so hard. I just don't feel like doing anything at home for my spouse or for the kids. I'm just always worn out. Now, it doesn't mean that that's not true. And you, of course, we know that working hard, you can get tired, you can feel a little burned out. But deciding to come from that place is what we're going to talk about then. If we're going to talk about this personal responsibility thing, you have to understand that the opposite of it is simply feeling like something's being done to you that's out of your control. And yes, there will be times when that happens, but it's this lens or perspective that even though I may feel like certain things are being done to me, I'm going to take then the opposite, which is personal responsibility in how I respond to it, what happens when I experience that, and what shifts I'm willing to make in my own beingness, my own thinking, my own feelings, my own perspectives, so that I can stay in a place where I can create what it is that I want within any circumstance. And so it was great. This weekend we were in St. Louis, and I had a guy come to me and go, man, when you shared that about being creative versus reactive, he said, that's powerful. He said, because a lot of times in my life, I feel stress and pressure. He goes, I'm often just reactive to the pressure, and it shuts me down. He said, but if I can notice that when I feel that pressure, that this is simply an opportunity for me to step up and go, no, I'm not going to be reactive to the pressure. I'm going to still use it and create what it is I want, because reactive and creative are the same word. They just have different letters rearranged in them. That's a really powerful place to step into. So you step into personal responsibility and choose to play that role. And, this is why we should never judge people. Like, we talk about judgment on people, Joel, as people are just doing the best that they can in certain scenarios. But if they're not aware that you can simply shift in or out of a character and just decide to put on a different lens, then they'll think that they're always going to have to be a victim to what's going on around them. They'll be a victim to their children's behavior, a victim to their spouse's behavior, a victim to the economy, a victim to the president, a victim to their uncle, a victim to their pastor, a victim to their friends, a victim to the world, a victim to their old age, a victim, whatever, victim to their past. But you see, in any moment, we get to choose and go, wait a minute, I'm not going to be a victim to that. I'm going to create. In this moment, I've been given a moment. And in this moment, whether I admit it or not, I'm going to create something, whether it's intentionally or it's by default. And if I take personal responsibility in the moment, then I say, this is the moment I've been given. I'm going to do something with it. I'm going to start to build something for tomorrow by doing something well today. And, for me, I love Rumi, the poet. I read him all the time. The poet Rumi said this. He said, you're looking in the branches for what can only be found in the roots. And the roots of personal responsibility are saying that regardless of what goes on around me, I'm still going to be responsible for what goes on in me. Regardless of what they say, I still have the power to respond the way that I choose to respond. So nobody can make me do or feel anything without my consent. And we've heard that before, but there's so much truth to it. Personal responsibility is the key. I believe it's the key to the door that gets us into really not only creating success, but to be able to sustain it, to be able to build for longevity. It's going to mean that you've got to take control of you. And it's one of my favorite little proverbs. I think it's an Indian proverb that says, if you conquer the enemy within, the one on the outside can do you no harm. And I love that, because so many people are afraid of what's going on the outside. Oh my gosh, what about this? What about that? No, you work on you. You work on what's going on inside you by taking personal responsibility. The things around you will start to line up.
And to take that step towards personal responsibility, it starts with a thought. It all starts in your head.
All of it, everything starts with a thought. I mean, if you look at any structure on the planet that's man-made, it all started with one idea. Nothing is assembled and built by accident that wasn't first thought out. And so we've got to create a blueprint of the future that we want in our mind. And then from that point, be willing to put down what that needs to look like. If you haven't thought about what you want your life to look like 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now, and aren't doing something today to move towards that, it's the old saying, you're eventually going to smash into a wall that you're creating. And when you smash into a wall that you're building by being irresponsible, by acting like a victim, thinking like a victim, well, I can't do that because of this. I can't create this because of that, whatever. You're going to eventually smash into that wall. And so what we do in personal responsibility is, the first thing, take a hold of your thinking and ask yourself, is this thought that I am running in my mind serving me? And if it's not serving me to move towards what I say I want, then I got to get rid of it. Jim Rohn said, it's a beautiful quote. Jim Rohn said, if you don't know what port you're sailing to, it won't matter which way the winds blow. You'll always be lost. And many people that don't take personal responsibility for their life are just lost in the drama of how things are. And we can all do it. I'm not saying that I'm perfect at it. I'm telling you, I mean, I get frustrated too, but I'm quick to jump out of it. I'm not going to let my need to be right about how something is wrong cause me to lose my joy, my peace, my peace of mind, and my focus on where it is that I'm going as an individual and where we're going as a family and as a team. That's personal responsibility to me.
Man, that is good. I encourage everybody who's listening right now to, I don't know how old school you are, but if you want to get a pen and paper or your BlackBerry or whatever, take some notes on this. These wisdom nuggets that he's throwing out are amazing. The quotes that you don't know. I know I don't know these, and I know I haven't heard some of these things that you've said before, and I need to digest them. So if you're listening right now, digest this. To digest this, write this stuff down, and it'll help you to remember it, and it'll make a difference in your head for sure. This is great stuff. I think personal responsibility is something that is lacking, and maybe I'm getting old and turning into my grandfather and saying, "Way back in my day, we didn't,"
Mm-hmm.
But we need to recognize that it is our choice. The situations we're in, the reaction that we have is an opportunity for creativity. You're exactly right. That's great.
Well, the last little thing, and then we can move on. Entitlement.
Mm-hmm.
Entitlement is
Be careful here.
Entitlement's the fastest road to mediocrity.
Yeah.
And entitlement comes from a victim mindset, because a victim mindset says, well, I can't really do anything about this. I don't have to do anything about it because I'm the victim. Entitlement operates pretty much the same way. I don't have to do anything because I'm really owed something. It should be different. So people are just going to do for me, give to me. It's really, they're intertwined. They're similar. Now, they're not the same thing, but I say that a lot. Entitlement's the fastest road to mediocrity. And so if entitlement's the fastest road to mediocrity, the victim mindset is like trying to find a shortcut on that short road of entitlement, because it's not stepping up and saying, if it is to be, it's going to be up to me, and I got to make this thing work. And when you see people that have dealt with terrible circumstances and have overcome and are still pushing to get better and better. And let me be honest about this, Joel. I'm just going to be a little transparent. When I first started speaking, I loved being in front of groups of people, because I thought, man, if I can entertain them, if I can get them to clap and go, yeah, it's awesome. If I can get them, then man, that'll mean I've done my job and they liked me. Now, I think over 10 years, Joel, now I'm not really so concerned with them liking me. I trust that people will like me if I do the right things and share what I believe from my heart. But now I feel like my commitment is different. My commitment now is to help people really move forward and do something different. And that's taking personal responsibility for the craft, the art of communication. What do I do in personal development training and so forth? That for me is maturing into personal responsibility of, okay, if you're really going to do this, then you need to give your best to it. And personal responsibility tells us to do that with life. If you're going to live it, if you're really going to put the time in, then you might as well do the very best that you can with it. And either way, you're going to produce a result. But you have these commitments that drive these results. And anytime you look at an end result, you can boil it back to what it is you've been committed to. And you're either committed to being personally responsible, or you're committed to looking at it through the lens of a victim. And being a victim doesn't mean that you're crying, going, oh, nobody loves me, whatever. Being a victim means you could just simply be looking at a scenario or a circumstance going, I have no power here. And honestly, I think that's a cop-out. I think it's a cop-out to say that I don't have any power here. You may not be able to change the whole situation, but you can contribute to it adjusting and changing. You can contribute and make contribution. That's personal responsibility. A victim is like, well, there's nothing I can do anyway, so I'm just going to sit here. And the days become the weeks, weeks become months, months become years, years become a decade. And then, you were 20 and then you're 30. You're like, well, not a whole lot's changed. Then 40, not a lot's changed. And then you start going, well, I guess this is the way my life's going to be. And that's the biggest cop-out. And so today, even listening to this, maybe at the end of this, you go, what's one area I need to take more personal responsibility in? And what's the action step that I'm going to do? What is it I'm going to do? What am I going to do? And whatever that could be. Financially, you could go to the bank and just set up a savings account and go, hey, I'm going to put 2% of my income in there every month. Just something for your mind to say I'm making progress. I'm going to go work out 3 days a week. Even if you go the first day and you go work for 10 minutes, I'm doing something today that's going to move me towards where I want to be tomorrow. That's personal responsibility.
Dang, that is good stuff. That is a lot to chew on.
Did you just say dang on my podcast?
I said dang.
Man, you
Dang.
are really pushing the envelope here, pal.
I know.
Dial it back.
I'm a little bit of a rebel. Sorry.
Wild man, pushing the envelope.
I'm telling you, that you gave me more than I was hoping. I mean, that I even thought was going to happen on that. I thought this will be a good one that we can get some shallow, and that was some deep stuff. And if you do take action on this, my goodness, you're going to love it.
So let me say this, Joel, and then we're moving past this, and you can move on to your next question on your card there. I am experiencing rapid growth in my career. I am. A lot of people asking me to do things, and I am unbelievably grateful so much to be working with NASA, to go back to work with NASA and them say the things to me they're saying and how excited they are for me to be a part of the Lion program that we're continuing to do, Lion 2.0. I'll be at Kennedy Space Center in just about 7 or 8 weeks. It's amazing. But I'm looking back now at things I could have done better with personal responsibility when it came to the infrastructure for my business, finance, things like that, that now I need to be, I'm making correction around. So when you hear this, understand it's not that I'm perfect, not even close, but you want to do the best that you can right now because, it will catch up to you. So anyway, just wanted to put that in there. So we're all growing. It's a process. Remember, change doesn't happen in a day. It happens daily. So anyway, just wanted to put that in there.
That's good. And you did mention Lion, so I'm going to take the opportunity to tell the people that are listening that if you haven't heard this, listen to this series that Ronnie put together, you've got to get a hold of this. Go to DOSteam.com and grab your copy of it. And, like you said, Lion 2.0 is coming out. There are resources that you can tap into that Ronnie has laid out on a table for you just to come up, and it's a buffet of deep knowledge, stuff that's going to change. Like you said, daily changes. It's little tweaks that you can do every day that's going to better you. Instantly, it'll better you, and then in the long run, you're going to realize that you're a mighty oak tree because of these daily changes that you've been able to implement and learn from Ronnie. That's amazing, Ronnie.
Yeah, well, cool. I mean, it is. It's just part of the process. The resources are to help. I know I'm listening to some of the resources that I've already created. We're redoing some of them. That's one of the things, Joel, that we know is that, you've got repetition is a big thing. So I always tell people, if you find something that you really enjoy, even if it's just reading a book, if you find a chapter that really speaks to you, you should read it and reread it and reread it again so that it finally, through repetition, you get it. And it's there for you to retain and to pull from when you need it. And so resources and all that are so, so important.
Man, that's exactly right, and it's easy. It's easy to get a hold of this stuff. It's gonna make a difference in your life. I want to move to something that some people feel like they don't have a lot of talent in their life. They look around and they go, "Well, I can't sing like I see people on The Voice, or I can't speak as well as Ronnie Doss does, or my cubicle mate is way faster at typing words per minute." Whatever the case may be, I want to take a look at a few things that require zero talent that we can excel at. And I'm going to read off a real quick list, but then we're going to go back through them one by one, and hopefully we'll have enough time to get all the way through it. But the things that require zero talent in life: number 1, being on time; number 2, your work ethic; number 3, effort; number 4, body language; number 5, energy; 6, attitude; 7, passion; 8, being coachable; 9, doing extra; and 10, being prepared. Those are 10 things that require zero talent. If you feel like you don't have as much talent as the guy or girl next to you, these are things that you can tweak daily. Again, back to the daily message that's going to improve your life and the lives of those around you. Number one, being on time.
You want me to talk to that?
I want you to talk about just the discipline.
Yeah. So being on time, I tell people all the time, you want to come spend time with me and you want to work with me, you better be on time. Because one of the things that I have learned is that time is much more valuable than money. But when you show up late to a meeting, you're ripping other people off of their time. And money's replaceable. You can lose it and get it back. Friends, you can lose and get back. You can lose a lot of things and get it back. But let me tell you something. You lose time, it's gone. And so, people say, well, the traffic, well, whatever. Well, you know what? That's no excuse. I'm not late to meetings. I'm not. And I'm not trying at all to sound arrogant. I'm telling you, I plan accordingly. I say if I need to be there at 11, I need to be there, 10 minutes early. Then what time do I need to leave to be there 10 minutes early? Then I figure out what that time is. And then I go, okay, let me give myself 20 extra minutes to get there to even still be 10 minutes early. So I wind up being at meetings sometimes 15, 20 minutes early. But I can sit in the car, read, I can study, I can do whatever I need to do, make phone calls. I'm not going to be late. You rip people off. And I think it's disrespectful. And, and it really is just an indicator of your own personal responsibility when it comes to the disciplines needed. And so don't waste people's time. I mean, it's as simple as that.
Man, that is good. And I kind of look at too being on time as an airport. Now I fly a lot. You travel a lot. If you don't show up to the airport on time, or you do show up with just enough time to sneak through, and what's going on in security that day? Well, they got a hold up, or you get an extra long search, or they've changed your gate, whatever. You've missed your flight. It's over. Now you can rebook, and it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you your time, your money. But if you plan ahead and plan accordingly to be on time, you can make your flight, and that means being in a meeting on time. You make the flight of that meeting, and it makes a difference. So I think you're exactly right. Let's be on time.
Well, and the other thing too, people, you hear people, oh, this airport and the security is just so bad, it's so whatever. And yes, that might be true, but it's like, shut up, get here early. That's part of it. Traffic is going to be part of it. It's part of it. So with just a little bit of planning, ahead of time, you can go, ooh, even if the traffic stinks, I can still make it. So since you know that that's going to be a variable in the equation of a successful life, plan on it, right? Hope for the best, plan for the worst when it comes to time, and get there on time. Anyway.
Boom. Love it. Work ethic. How important is your work ethic?
It's everything. I don't care how talented you are. If you don't have any work ethic, you're going to be average. Average. John Maxwell's, it's a great quote. Great potential plus wrong habits or wrong work ethic equals average life. What a great quote. Great potential plus wrong habits or average work ethic equals an average life. And I see a lot of young people that think they're so talented. Well, I got this. I'm going to do this. Man, the world will humble you quickly. You think you're smarter, better, quicker, sharper, whatever. In some cases, that might work, that you don't have to have a lot of work ethic. But I'm telling you, if you really want to move up in the world and create some success and create a legacy, the time to get after it's now. Work ethic. I could talk about this one all day. That one's simple. Get after it. You tell people what you want to be, and that's one thing. But when you get after it, you really show them what you're going to be. And my mom used to say it. Show me, don't tell me. That was one of her favorite things. And most of the time I was trying to tell her, blah, 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 blah. Addison still. But Dad, I could do, it's like, no, just do it. Just do it. So work ethic, big one.
Man, that's good. I heard a quote too, and we love to share quotes, but you can pretend to care, but you can't pretend to show up. And that's part of that work ethic too.
That's good.
You can pretend, but you can't pretend to show up. You got to do it.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good one.
Man, all right, let's moving on. We've got, let's see, what is my next one? I want to go to, let's go to effort. Effort is next because that ties in with work ethic, your effort that you put in.
Mm-hmm. You got to do more than is expected. Let that be the mantra. I always do more than is expected of me. That's called excellence. You do what everybody else is doing, you're going to just fit in. You do more than what's expected of you continually, you stand out. And then people go, hey, man, you really have a heart for this. Let me give you a little bit more of responsibility here to see how you do with that. That's by effort. That's effort. The world is full of chatter and noise and talk of people running their mouth. But it's the person, the guy, the gal that'll get in there and fight and train and push when nobody else wants to push. Read when nobody else is reading. Everybody else is partying. I saw something the other day that said, if you're the person that would rather say, no, I'm going to stay home and study or work or practice when everybody else is going to the party, welcome to the 1% club. Because that's what it is. You're putting an effort other people want. And what you do in private gets propelled in public. So if you want to get propelled, you got to get prepared, and that means put in the effort when everybody else is doing something else. And I'm telling you, and I heard this quote where the guy said, you need to be working every day as if someone's out there trying to replace you.
Right.
Because there are lots of people. I meet young people like, Ronnie, I want to speak like you. And I'm like, great, then get after it. I want you to get after it. And you're not going to take my place. You're not going to outwork me when it comes to personal development and speaking. You're not going to outwork me. I don't think anybody does that I know. I can watch and tell. I can listen to their messages. Are you getting better? Are you adding new content? What are you doing? And it's not a judgmental thing. I'm just saying this is my experience of it, but you're not going to outwork me. You got to put the effort in. If you want to be great at anything, you got to put the effort in. Michael Jordan, they said, was the first one on the court at practice, last one to leave. Larry Bird, these NBA legends, first one on the court at practice, last one to leave. That's why they were great. They weren't just great because of talent. They worked it. There's a lot of talented people that are weak. They got no skills. They got no when it comes to the game and crunch time, they got no skills on that level because they haven't practiced and practiced and practiced. They might have talent, but unless you practice it and hone it in, you're not going to be great. Good's the enemy of great. You can be good with a little bit of effort, but if you want to be great, you got to put in the effort, man. I don't care what you do. So anyway, let's move on.
That's good. That's good. And if I can tell you the story of someone who I helped propel in my life. I work in television, sports television primarily, but one day I was working in Colorado, and we were finished with the show. We were loading the truck, and you're putting all the cables and cameras and everything back in the truck. And I'm at the truck, and people would bring stuff around the side of the truck, hand up to me, and I would stack it in there. I noticed that there was this one girl, utility was her position, and it's basically, kind of the grunt work, the basic in level to start. And I noticed that she was bringing something every other person. As I'm taking the truck, I'm going, there's like 7 people. Why is this girl showing up every time? Because she was hustling it and just busting her butt. And she's covered in grease on her face. She wasn't trying to be all pretty and stuff. She's going, this job's going to be done. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to be noticed. When she called me and said, hey, I want to get to a different level in this business. I want to, grow, and can you give me some help? I, of course, said yes. Because I saw her effort.
Right.
Of course I'm going to help you. And today she's very successful, travels the world doing this stuff. And because of being it might have been the bottom level, but she worked her tail off and it was noticed.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. And what you do, a lot of the listeners don't know this, but you got a pretty cool job, man. You've been everywhere and you've gotten to see all these incredible athletes, spend time with them, see them. Dude, it's awesome, guys. When you watch television, sports television, Super Bowl stuff, all these things. Joel's a part of that, doing production. He's a rock star. So, dude, that's a great story. And it's like somebody has a flat tire on the side of the road, or something that's broke down on the side of the road. If they're just sitting in the car, you're not really prone to pull over and help them as much. But if you see somebody with their door open trying to push their car themselves, you're like, oh. Yeah. Let me help them because they're putting in that effort.
You're exactly right.
Anyway, let's do what we got in a minute, 2 minutes. Let's do 2 more really quick. One more, and then
let's do one more. We'll do one more, and then we'll split it to the next one. The next one kind of ties in with this, but energy, the energy you put in.
Yeah, energy is you have to find a place for you to tap into the energy you have. Let me tell you guys this: you only have so much creative energy. You can't let people tap it. You can't get around people that are pulling at you with drama, with whatever. I've heard President Obama, and I know all the presidents would say this, that if something gets to my desk, it's a real issue. It needs to be buffered and handled meaning, I need to keep my focus on what it is that I do. Now, regardless of your politics, let's say it's a CEO. If you're the CEO of your business, you can't be handling everything, and you'll grow as quickly. Your speed of growth will be in, I believe, direct proportion to the things that you don't necessarily have to handle. And so it's important for you to know that your energy it's important, and you got to eat right. You got to take care of you. You got to make sure that you're doing the things to keep your mind sharp, keep your body fueled, so that you can do the work, so that you can outlast other people. Listen, you might be able to, as a boxer, throw a mean right hook. You might have a right hook like my wife. My wife has a right hook that could floor you. And Joe, is that not true?
Dude, I've taken kickboxing classes, but she does. It's
dude, she hits like Tyson. She drops down. I mean, and here's the thing, man. But if she didn't have the cardio stamina, you see, you can come in and swing hard, but if it wears you out, then somebody with some stamina is just going to outlast you and beat you down. This is life. Energy, stamina. You got to learn to tap into it. Here's what you need. Let me give you these, and let's move past this. You need something visual to keep you energized. What you look at, what you listen to, what you hear, what you see. You need something that keeps you energized, that when you see it, it reminds you of what's possible. So you put something in front of you to look at. You're putting things in your ears to keep you energized and motivated, and then you're putting things into your system, eating right, hydrated, vitamins, all the things that you need. I said chiropractic adjustments to keep that nervous system going. These things, I'm telling you, so important. Energy, you can't do it without it. You run like a hollow shell, you're not going to be able to perform. And I think that success is really, in time, just about persistence and continuing to show up. And you can't show up if you're dead. So energy, big one.
Man, that's good. I think this has been a fantastic Like a DOS podcast. I think we've got a lot of stuff covered. Can you give the people just one nugget to chew on the rest of the day?
Yeah. I think the big thing that I see is just know that this thing is a process. When I say this thing, I mean life. Relationships are a process. Business process, personal development process. But you've heard it. If you work on your job, you can make money. You work on yourself, you can make a fortune. Do both. Work at your relationships, get better. It's a process. Change is a process. It is not a one-time event. So today, if you're like, I'm not far enough along, scratch all that. That's burning that creative energy that you have, worrying about where you're not. Use it to get motivated if you need to get you on the path, but know that this is a process. Treat it, and I said this past weekend, treat life like it's a marathon, but run it in bursts like it's a sprint. So if you get an idea, burst at it, run at it, get started at it, and then know that you need to plan accordingly so that you can retain that energy, to continue to maintain your energy, to continue to be able to show up and create results. And so just know this thing's a process. If you're listening to this, you're doing the right things. Here's what I would challenge you to do. Share this. If you know somebody that you think needs to hear some of this stuff, that would love to hear it, not even that they need it, that they deserve it, that they're worth hearing something that can help to enhance their life, share it with them. But listen, you got to do it. It's a process. Stay in it. Stay with it. Keep believing. Don't lose your faith. Know that what has started in you will come to completion if you'll stay at it. Keep your head right. Be kind. Keep your heart right. Keep loving people, loving the world. Don't believe the noise that the world is bad and everybody's out to get you. Not everybody might be on your side, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that will support you if they see that you're putting in the effort, doing the things that we talked about. I'm telling you, the world is good. We're fortunate to be alive, thankful to God that He created us, gave us a great planet to live on. It's a process. So with that being said, thanks, Joel, so much, man. You're a rock star. Appreciate you guys. Looking forward to talking to you again very, very soon. Take care.
Thank you for joining today's podcast. The Like a DOS podcast is released every first and third Friday of the month. For more information, visit our website at dosteam.com.